If you find yourself every payday feeling like your money just comes and goes, meanwhile you aren't making the financial progress that you want to make, you're definitely going to want to watch this video. My name is Brett, and I'm a professional financial coach. I'm excited about today's topic, and I believe it is such an important one because if you put these steps that I'm going to give you into action, you will drastically change your financial situation for life. Whenever I analyze someone's finances to look for where the problem lies, it almost always is the same thing. They do not have a process in place on what to do with their income. When payday arrives, they often are winging it with their money, and this causes them to never make any progress on what they actually would like to achieve: financial stability and ultimately financial freedom. So I'm going to give you an 8-step process on what to do with every single paycheck that you receive that will put you way ahead of the game. Make sure to stick around to the end too, because I'm going to share an important tip to stay disciplined throughout this entire process. Let's get into it. Step 1, taking care of your fixed costs. Okay, imagine this. Today is payday. You just received your check. Now what? The first thing you're going to want to do is take care of your fixed costs. Your fixed costs are things that are necessary for you to live. Think about things like housing, expenses, transportation, groceries, medical needs, debt payments, and childcare. If you ignore these, it can put you way behind. Now, what I see tends to happen with most people is that as their income is growing, they fall victim to a phenomenon that is known as Parkinson's second law. This law states that expenses will always increase in proportion to income growth. This means that a person will always increase their spending if their income also increases. More money coming in means more money to spend. Makes sense. But the real problem here is that people will often go out and buy items that increase their monthly fixed costs, like a more expensive house, car, or boat. These items usually come with debt payments. I work with people all the time that when we review their spending, they will have fixed costs in the 70, 80, 90, or even 99% range. The higher percentage that your fixed costs are to your income, the more stressed out you will feel. The general rule here is that your fixed costs should not be more than 50% of your income, no matter what your income is. Now, I know this can be hard because life is just getting more and more expensive. So, this may require some sort of sacrifice, whether that means driving a less expensive car, living with a roommate, taking on a side gig, or finding other ways to cut expenses. I did all of these things. You want to keep your fixed costs as close to 50% as possible, if not under that amount, and make taking care of these expenses your first priority with your paycheck. Okay, once your fixed costs are taken care of, you will want to move on to step 2, which is your emergency fund. No doubt, unexpected expenses will arise. I guarantee it. It's always just bound to happen. Think of your emergency fund as a buffer between you and total financial annihilation when an unexpected expense arises. The average emergency expense today is $1,400. So I believe it's important to have enough to cover at least that in your starter emergency fund. I personally had $2,000 in my starter emergency fund. This kept me from going back into debt when an emergency happened, and trust me, it will be your superhero when you need it. You're also going to want to keep this fund separate from your primary checking account. I like a good high-yield savings account with no monthly fees that is easily accessible in case I need it. Your fully funded emergency fund should ideally cover 3 to 6 months of your expenses. After you have your starter emergency fund built up, you are going to want to move on to step 3, which is to pay off your high interest debt. High interest debt is the biggest killer of building wealth. Credit cards are the biggest culprit, especially with insane high rates that they have. Look at it this way. If you have $10,000 in credit card debt that is at 24% interest, you are paying $6.57 every single day just to have that debt. You should not be paying $6.57 every day to these banks that are raking in billions of dollars. You should be finding ways to get paid that money every day. So get rid of all your high interest debt. This would be anything especially in the 10% and up range. There are 2 popular methods that you can use when paying off your debt. You can use the debt avalanche method, which states that you list your debt and prioritize paying down the debt with the highest interest rate first while making minimum payments on all of the rest until the first debt is paid off, then move to the next one on the list. Keep doing this until all the debts are paid off. This method claims to be the method which is the most financially beneficial. The second method is the debt snowball method, which states that you list your debt out and prioritize paying down the debt with the lowest balance first, while making minimum payments on all of the rest until the first debt is paid off. Then move on to the next one on the list, working your way up to the largest balance. Keep doing this all the way until your debts are paid off. This method claims to be the method which is the most behaviorally beneficial. One method may be better than the other for your specific situation. If you don't know which one to go with, you can always talk to a financial coach to help you analyze your situation. But the main thing here is that you just pick one and go with it. Progress over perfection. Once your high interest debt is paid off, you can go back to your emergency fund and finish funding your full 3 to 6 month emergency fund. After you have accomplished this, you will want to start breaking down the remainder of your check into the next steps, which for step 4 is retirement accounts. The biggest fear that I run into with a lot of my clients is that they are afraid they will never get to retire, and it's understandably so. I want you to look at these numbers to see why it's so important to start investing in your retirement as soon as you possibly can. If you start investing just $200 a month at the age of 20, consistently for 40 years, by the time you reach 60, you will have over $1,118,000, assuming a 10% rate of return, in which you will have only contributed $98,000 of that. The other $1,022,000 of it will all be interest that you have earned off of your contributions. Now let's look at the same picture here if you start at 40 years old and you want to reach that same ending result at 60 years. You will only have 20 years to contribute now. Assuming the same rate of return, you will now need to contribute $1,545 every month, resulting in a total contribution of over $370,000, which is almost 4 times as much money that you yourself need to invest. You will still earn over $748,000 in interest over that time. However, you get the picture. The longer you wait, the more you need to contribute. There are a few different retirement accounts that are out there, but I'm going to go over the 2 most common, and those are the 401k and the Roth IRA. A 401k is a retirement savings plan that you get through your employer as part of your benefits package. This retirement plan allows you to invest pre-tax from your paycheck, thus lowering your taxable income. Think of it as sort of a today's tax benefit. A Roth IRA is an investment account that allows you to invest your money into something that you have already paid taxes on, and to take advantage of paying little to no tax on the gains in the future when you pull it out in retirement. Think of it as sort of a future tax benefit. When it comes to investing in your retirement, a general rule is to invest 10 to 20% of your paycheck, depending on where you are at in life. After you have invested into your retirement account, you will want to move on to step 5, which is to invest in yourself. This is a step that a lot of people miss. There are endless amount of benefits to investing in yourself. Your money can only grow as fast as the market allows, but you can grow at an exponential rate. And investing in yourself and your learning can not only increase your knowledge and your skills, but also your income. I've found that every single time that I invest in myself, whether it be in hiring a coach, continuing education, more traveling, or adding to my skills level, it has paid off immensely. I attribute the growth of my finances to the growth of my knowledge. Think about this. Right now, you are investing in yourself by spending time watching this video here on YouTube, which, if you are gaining value from these steps, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, imagine what you can do if you not only invested time, but also money into yourself. Start investing in yourself, and you will be a completely different person very soon in a good way. After you have invested a percentage of your paycheck into investing in yourself, you are going to want to work on step 6, and that is to pay off your other debt. We talked earlier about paying off your high interest debt. Now is the time that you can go back and pay off any other debts that you would like to, particularly ones that have an interest rate that is losing you money every month in comparison to your savings or investments. I personally have been completely debt-free for the last 9 years, and I can tell you that my life has never been the same since. it has allowed me to take advantage of so many opportunities in my life that I normally would have been not as financially capable of doing if I still had a bunch of debt payments. Opportunities like taking extended breaks from work, going out on the road with my band for weeks or even months at a time, making my career change from full-time RV sales to a full-time professional financial coach less anxiety-inducing. Now, you don't need to be debt-free if it isn't in your priorities, but you will want to minimize your debt as much as you possibly can to optimize your income. After this step, you can move on to step 7, which is to save up for your other financial goals. These can include goals like saving up for a down payment on a house, buying a new car, taking a vacation, remodeling your current house, saving up for kids' college, or an endless amount of other goals. The idea here is that you can save up to pay outright for these goals so you aren't taking on unnecessary debt and then going backwards on all of the progress that you've made. Write these goals down and contribute to them regularly and watch them start coming true. That big purchase feels so much better when you know that you are well prepared to pay for it in full without taking on new debt. After you have contributed a portion of your paycheck to your financial goals, you will move on to step 8, which is your wants. Now you're probably thinking, oh my God, I have to go through all of these other items before I get to do anything fun? My answer to that is no. But ideally, what you want to do here is to pay yourself first, meaning take care of all of your financial goals and priorities before spending a big portion of your paycheck on the things that you just want in life but you don't really need. Your future self will definitely thank you. This brings me to an important tip on how to stay disciplined throughout this entire process, and it's something that I encourage every one of my coaching clients to do as well. And that is to create a money rule where no matter what, as long as all of your fixed costs are taken care of, that you spend just a little bit of money on yourself to do something fun. That doesn't mean go out and blow it all on going to the bars with your friends and extravagant vacations. But it does mean that if you are not enjoying the here and now in some capacity, you are more than likely not going to make it through the proper steps to achieve your goals for very long. So I encourage you to use a percentage, starting small, to go toward your fun activities every month. The caveat on that again is, as long as all of your needs are taken care of first. For me, that just meant going out to a movie at least once a month. Then as I started to hit my goals, I would have more money left over. As I had more money left over, I was able to increase this percentage without the guilt that I was spending money that I didn't have or was somehow taking away from my future goals. I previously had worked in sales, and some months I made more money than others, but I always stuck to these percentages. So when I had those months where I did make more than normal, I would just have more money to contribute to my wants. This actually drove me to find more ways to make money, which also expedited my debt payoff and my savings process. I sort of tricked myself into succeeding faster because I just wanted to have more money to do fun things today. Okay, now that you have a full process on what to do with your paycheck, I want to challenge you to put this process into action on your next payday and let me know how it's going. If you gained some insight from today's video, let me know down in the comments which part really impacted you. This is Brett signing off for today, and I'll see you in the next video.